Welcome to Yes, Genius, a podcast from Epic Marketing that celebrates the power of affirmative thinking. In each episode, we explore the power of saying yes to unexpected opportunities, career changes, even the unknown, and the powerful results. This season, we welcome our speakers and panelists from Social Media Day, Delaware. We hope you enjoy their yes stories and some digital marketing insights.
Hello and welcome. I'm your host for this episode, Jess Burton. Joining me is Jessica Horstman, a seasoned digital marketing professional who currently leads the digital marketing efforts for the Greater Wilmington Convention and Visitors Bureau. Her expertise spans web design, social media management, branding, and public relations. With a focus on storytelling and strategic partnerships, Jessica has driven significant growth in social media engagement and website traffic for the Bureau. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me. You make me sound so good.
Well, it's easy when you've accomplished so many great things. And you have a really awesome name.
Right? I know. It's pretty good.
So we'll get right into it. The topic of the podcast, the name of the podcast is Yes, Genius. And we're going to talk about a moment you said yes. So when I had asked you about if there was a specific moment that you had in mind, you had mentioned something about a capstone college class that had kind of changed where you were headed. So if you could kind of give us the story behind saying yes and how you landed here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, it was definitely a whirlwind of a situation. I was just sitting in one of my classes, my general, senior year, don't really care anymore classes. And we were talking about our capstone projects for the next semester. And in walks this teacher, and he was giving us a whole spiel about you could potentially go to Belgium. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's sign up for this, whatever this may be. And that yes moment completely changed my life and my career, actually, because I wasn't going to do it once I saw more about what it was and what it actually entailed for a capstone project. It was far worse than any other capstone projects that we had in the science, or I guess the Reed College of Media at West Virginia University. Shout out. But yeah, it was like the hardest class you could take. And I was like at that point of my senior year, fall semester, where I was like, I'm just ready to be done. I just want to be done. And it was my 6th year at college because I actually took off a year because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And yeah, I just kind of said yes. And then it took me to an interview process, a very hard interview process of interviewing with the professor, the dean, I think there was one more level. And I had to pass all of those. There was 30 people that signed up and only 12 get accepted. So it was a rigorous experience, but it was the moment that I said yes to the first interview, like a kind of like a, hey, yeah, sure, whatever. That moment definitely led me here because that project, it was an entire semester's worth of time and energy, and we got to do spring break in Belgium and present our projects. And then I was done. So it was like the hardest part of my entire college career, but it was like minimized in that semester because then we were pretty much done after spring break.
I love that. I love that you just kind of on a whim said like, sure, I'll fill that out, like see what happens.
Yeah.
And it like turned into this. And it's funny because like I'm the kind of person that would totally stress over like, oh my God, like I have to do this capstone project and it's in Belgium and all this. And I feel like being able to just kind of like apply on a whim and get it on a whim, you don't have all that stress.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was stressing myself out for no reason, which is just totally my personality. But yeah, I literally just was like, I was talking to my boyfriend, now husband, and he was just like, yeah, like go for it, whatever. And if not, you'll come home for spring break and we'll have fun. And, just kind of go for it. And I was like, all right, let's try.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what exactly, if you're allowed to say what it was, what exactly was your capstone project about and what did you present on?
Yeah, so we had to create an entire strategic plan for a nonprofit. It's called UFAMI, which is basically the equivalent of NAMI here, that mental health organization. So we had to do everything from social media posts to digital marketing efforts, which I didn't know were really a thing because this was for a strategic communications degree, not a digital marketing degree. So I was actually focused more on advertising and PR than the marketing side of things. And that kind of completely switched my, I mean, it's kind of well combined, but it completely switched my mentality post grad to come to find out that digital marketing is my thing. But yeah, it was a long, I think it was 175-page like book that we had to create for them and present to them. And there was 4 teams.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now, did
it was
they
a lot.
have to, did they select a team, or was it just kind of like so it was like an actual like pitch almost of like, here's
Yeah,
what you
no,
should do.
we actually had to pitch our entire like a year's worth of content and a year's worth of marketing efforts to them, and they gave us like specific instructions on like what their goal was for the year. Like I think I forget now; it's been a long time, but I think their main thing was that they wanted followers and they wanted like a new website. So we actually designed a website for them, and our team lost, but the team that won had a better website than ours. So now I kind of, it's funny because now I do websites too. So I'm like, well, okay then. But yeah, it was 4 teams that our professor took us with his wife over to Belgium. The 12 of us, we presented and we got to do some cool stuff too. But we were stressing the whole time and we got to present to them, and it was like a 3-day thing. Like we got to meet them, we got to finalize our presentations with them and kind of like see their side of, especially European. So it's completely different from us, and the legalities and all, like some of the stuff that we had in our project at the last minute we had to change because of different what is the FAA rules and all that. So it was definitely like a stressful situation, but it was a lot of fun.
It sounds like it's a ton of fun and like actual real life experience, which I feel like is kind
Mhm.
of missing sometimes nowadays, that real life
Yeah,
experience.
no, absolutely.
Um,
I mean, it's definitely that was the key part for sure.
for sure. And it sounds like in this whole presentation, in this whole project, it's kind of what had you lean more towards digital marketing versus communication. So what was it about digital marketing in completing this project that you were like, I think I like this a little bit more?
It was the work that went into it. I think it was the harder sections of the strategic plan that we created was the digital marketing, and I'm not usually one to shy away from hard work, so I actually took that and kind of ran with it, and I wanted to do the social media side of things, and I wanted to do mostly like kind of behind the scenes, and this like something like this is totally abnormal for me because I'm never the one to like speak about myself or like I always am the one behind the scenes in like the marketing world. So it was kind of fun to do both and see both. And definitely my personality went towards the behind the scenes.
That's so neat. So
Yeah.
when we're working with, I'm gonna Ufami, it sounds
Fun.
like you saw kind of like the connection between digital marketing and like being able to inform a community about important services and outreach. Have you seen digital marketing and social media make an impact through your work?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I mean, now that I work for, Greater Wilmington, it's definitely the impact I see in like the locals' perspective of our area and kind of changing that perspective a little bit based on our work is definitely one of my favorite things. It's always fun to see the comments and like, oh, there's nothing fun to do in Delaware. And then you see our page and there's like a million events this weekend and things to do, something for everyone. And it's just kind of fun to kind of like give that little bit of a nudge to those people who doubt the state.
I I'm one of those people that like admittedly like I've born and raised in Delaware, like recently transplanted to Pennsylvania. And as a like middle schooler and a teen and even when I was in college, I remember saying like there's nothing to do in Delaware. And
Mhm.
as an adult, I look back on it and I'm like, "Oh my god, like I can hop on a train and be anywhere from New
Yeah.
York to DC in like an hour or so." Like it
Yeah.
Delaware is kind of like the meeting point for all of these great metropolitan areas as well as having its own insane arts and education and the whole 9 yards right within the
Yeah.
3 counties.
No, absolutely. It's funny because I think the statistic that we tell people, and it's a true statistic, it's not just like fake statistic, but I think it's Delaware is within third of the population by train or by a 2 hour. I think it's like 2 or 3 hour max. So the entire a third of the population, the entirety of it, is within that time frame of a quick day trip or a quick weekend away. So it's definitely like a key part of the East Coast for sure.
Absolutely. It really is. And tax-free shopping doesn't hurt either.
I mean, yeah, that does not hurt at all. I know a lot of my family from Jersey, because I'm a transplant here. A lot of my family from Jersey comes over shopping with us a lot.
So I had read in a couple different places that you grew up in the area and then you decided to return to the state to work as an adult. Can you tell us about what brought you back and what it means to kind of represent this area?
Yeah, so originally, I'm a Jersey girl. I grew up there until I was 10, so I'm more Delawarean than Jersey now. But I always wanted to go to UD. And then when we transplanted here, I wanted nothing to do with UD. And then, so I went to West Virginia University, and then I came back because I was dating some guy who now is my husband, and we have 2 kids. But yeah, he kind of pulled me back, and only because I actually found a job here too. Um, but I mainly came back for him at first because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But I knew I wanted to be in that digital marketing world. And, Delaware, my brother's baseball coach, actually got me the interview here. And that's kind of how it happened. And now I can't imagine my life any other way. It was another yes moment for real. Because, I was just coming back for a boyfriend, and I was like, yeah, if we break up, I'll move back to West Virginia. Because that's, I love it there. But, and I have my friends there and stuff. So I was like, yeah, whatever happens, I'll be home or I'll move back and it's fine. But I said yes again. And yes again to an interview that I had known nothing about the company. And then lo and behold, 6 years later, I am still here.
That's amazing. That's like the most Delaware story ever. Like, oh yeah, my brother's coach got me the job. And like the amount of times that like I try to explain to people that like in Delaware, it's all about like not even who you know,
No,
but
it's
like
just Delaware.
who you know who knows somebody. Cause
Yeah.
I like you participated in social media day, and it was one of those things where like I found you because I asked somebody that somebody else I knew, and they were like, "Oh, I think you're probably looking for Jess Horstman," and I'm like, "I don't know who that is, but I'll send her an email."
Yeah, but of course. And that person is the person who I took over for here, I believe. So it all comes right back. It's all just a big circle, Delaware. Those 3 counties, you can't get as far from each other at all.
No, absolutely not. So you were
But
talking about your husband and your brother's coach. Who would you say are the most 3 influential people in your life?
I definitely think my husband is. He definitely he pushes me to be whoever I thought I would be. Like I said, I'm kind of not one to shy away from hard work, but neither is he. So we kind of even push each other. And then I would say probably my dad is another good one. And I know it's kind of cliche, but my dad actually was born with a blood disease. It's kind of similar to sickle cell. It's called thalassemia. So he has, lived his entire life in pain, and I just kind of saw his perseverance throughout my childhood and into adulthood, um, and it's just an incredible story. I mean, that's a whole nother topic we could talk about, but yeah, the cliff notes is he doesn't make his blood cells correctly, so he has to get transfused every month, and he was actually supposed to die at 13. There was no cure for this disease yet, and it's kind of it used to be a childhood disease because they weren't making it past 20 years old, if that. So it's definitely his perseverance and kind of his never give up attitude kind of pushed me. And then I would say my mom, on the other flip side of that, would be the patience that she has to deal with all of us, like and all of our personalities, because I am my dad's like spitting image. Um, like she definitely has the patient side that I would hope that comes out with my kids in the future when I need more patience with them, because they're only 3 and 7 months. So I don't need. I mean, the 3-year-old definitely pushes it, but yeah, I'm starting that like, oh my god, I'm my mom, like that kind of right now. But it's a good thing because she's the one that kind of inspired the patient side of me and the side that kind of like reins me in a bit.
Definitely. I always joke with people, and my boyfriend will tell you, I always tell him, I'm like, patience was not a virtue that I was born with. So obviously you've said yes to a lot of things. You've tried a lot of different things. Um you have a lot of inspiring people in your life, and a lot of people kind of pushing you to do things that maybe you don't see yourself doing. Do you have any kind of advice to give to others about the importance of saying yes, but embracing like new challenges and opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, I was never the first to say yes to things. It actually, that college class was the first thing that I really said yes to, and it changed my whole life. So I would definitely say that that's, if you're not a person to say yes, just do it once and see what happens. You're not going to be, nobody's going to fault you for it if it doesn't work out. Um, but it's definitely something that I never thought I would see myself doing. And now, like, the yeses just keep coming. Like I said yes to coming back here. I said yes to Social Media Delaware Day, and that was amazing. And yes to the podcast. Like, it's definitely it's changed my world.
Amazing. Right? That's what we love to
Yep.
hear.
Oh yeah.
Um I definitely think that there needs to be more good yeses in the world, more
Yeah.
tempting ones.
Yeah.
So I know it was funny because when I had started chatting with people in person about who was going to come to Social Media Day Delaware and who was participating, I know that your panel, all three of you, were like the hot button topic. Everyone was like, oh, you got the person from, you got this influencer and you got the person who does the social for Visit Wilmington. And I'm like, yeah, her email's like on the website. Like, she's in some of the Instagram reels. But I know that everybody was very excited because all three of you are very creative with the content that you create, and you specifically do a lot of outreach. Like you are a one person team. Like you
Yeah.
can't be the state, even though the state is only 3 counties, you can't be in the entire state all at once getting all of the content. Um, so how do you approach crafting like compelling stories for Delaware tourism through social media? And do you have any strategies that you use to kind of engage with your different audiences?
It's definitely knowing them, first and foremost. Like, so our organization is membership based, so we do have quite a few that we, reach out to kind of create that membership first, and that relationship of membership first. But then it's, we have to find new members and all of that. So it's kind of knowing the story ahead of time, or at least as much as they let you know on their websites, and you have to do your research, and like you have to really understand who they are. And like, I'll give an example. Like, Bing's Bakery is a new member of ours, and like their story is just so interesting. Like, they came here, it's a family owned and operated since I don't even know when. It's like over 100 years at this point, probably. But like their story now, it's the cousins that are running it, and now they opened the bacon brew and all the coffee shops, and her sons are running those. And Delaware, another Delaware thing is I actually worked with one of the son's girlfriends, so again, Delaware. But yeah, it's just finding the story and like finding the connection that you have to them. With I mean, we aren't all Delaware, we don't all have those types of connections, but definitely finding like everything is universal. There's relationships, there's good, bad, ugly. I mean, we all have universal stories, and just trying to find that connection, I think, is the key. And just starting the conversation, and then just kind of going from there.
Those are two very great nuggets. Start the conversation and find the connection. Those are like,
Yeah.
I think those are
I
great
know.
starting points.
Yeah, look at me go. I was coming off that with the cuff.
So the next part of our podcast is this or that. So we'll kind of give you two things to choose from, and you can kind of tell us which ones you would choose. And then from this or that, we'll hop right into some rapid fire questions. This and that is more towards your marketing, your digital marketing brain. But the rapid fire section is more about you. So
Okay.
for this and that, we're going to kind of look into your into kind of how you like to promote Delaware. So we're going to do storytelling versus analytics. Would you prefer creating a compelling brand story or diving deep into data insights?
Depends on the day, but mostly data insights.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the storytelling would lead up to those analytics, so it's kind of both, but yeah, definitely analytics.
I agree. I can see, yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
Do you, so Instagram stories or TikTok videos? If you had to choose one for a campaign, which platform would you prioritize?
Probably Instagram. Just our audience isn't quite on TikTok yet. We're getting there, but
TikTok is an
it's a
interesting place.
beast. It's a beast in and of itself. Like, I feel like you need someone on your team just for TikTok.
Yes. Yes.
I say that for the people in the back too. Like, we need someone just for TikTok.
Yes. All of that and above. Yeah. I tell
Right.
people that all the time. I'm like, are you going to spend 30 minutes a day on TikTok? Because that's the minimum.
Yeah, exactly. And then even that might not get you in the algorithm at all that day.
It's wild.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
One of the reasons you were such a highly sought after person for Social Media Day was that you do a lot of partnering with not just local businesses, but also influencers. So when you are building strategic partnerships, do you think that influencers or businesses have more of an impact?
I think influencers and content creators do, because they're really good at telling the story of those businesses. And sometimes businesses aren't great at telling their own stories.
That is a good one. That's you hit the nail right on the head. So when it comes to organic growth or some paid ads, do you lean towards building an audience naturally or leveraging some of those paid tactics?
We have both, but I would say organic is the best, just because you're building that audience and that engagement from the ground up, and you're not like kind of feeding into what the paid does, which is great. You need it. I'm not gonna say you don't, but I think organic is definitely my go-to.
Yes. I tell people a lot that like organic is very much like the scenic route, and paid is kind of like you taking the train from point A to point B without stopping, with very little stops.
Yeah, I think you definitely need the train ride once in a while for certain campaigns and certain things. But those lasting relationships, I think, come from organic.
Yes, agreed. When it comes to Delaware, if you had to pick one area to promote, would you choose the Brandywine Parks, the more scenic views, or downtown Wilmington with the like urban downtown experience?
Oh, that is a tough one. Oh, I personally love the outdoors, so I would say probably the scenic views. And I think Delaware is underrated for the amount of scenic views and gorgeous like parks that we have. So that's probably my go-to. But again, like downtown Wilmington is fun. Like there's so much to do. I mean, yeah, that one's a hard one.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one, especially if you love both. All right. So moving on to our rapid fire section, I'm going to ask you questions about you. And they're kind of all over the place because it's meant to kind of disarm you and make you think but not think. So my first question is, what is your favorite dessert?
Creme brulee.
Ooh. What do you collect?
I used to collect shot glasses, but now I collect children's toddlers' toys because they're everywhere in my house.
That's a good one. What is your go-to lazy dinner?
My mom actually taught me how to make it's this like mayonnaise chicken. It's like 3 ingredients because my mom does not cook. It sounds gross. It's just mayonnaise, grated cheese, and chicken basically, and a little what are the breadcrumbs on top, and you put it in the oven 10-15 minutes, you're done. It's actually really good.
That's like way more thought than like my lazy dinner, which is to take a frozen pizza and stick it in the
I used to be that way until I married my husband, and his mom used to cook and still does every night, like almost every night, unless they go out to dinner. And so yeah, I'm like now I have to cook.
One, you take a step up, yeah. Do you have a hidden talent?
I actually used to play tennis, and I still occasionally do, but I was almost on the junior Olympic team when I was 5 or 6.
I didn't even know they had that.
Yeah, me neither. And then they gave a 5 or 6 year old the choice of, going to tennis early in the morning and after school, or, my dance classes. So kind of chose dance, but I did continue to play tennis.
Fair. And last but not least, finish the phrase, I can't live without.
My family. No, I can't live without my family, but probably my phone. It's so bad, but I can't.
Honestly. Yeah, I love my family. Can't live without them. But
I mean, yeah, definitely.
I honestly don't know where my phone is right now, and I'm kind of like, oh my god, where did I put it?
I know. I like always, and my dad will tell you, or anybody really who will listen, the story of how I was in high school and like my phone broke, and I cried. And like, of course, a high school teenage girl, like her phone, but apparently I was like psychotic about it, and I didn't think I was psychotic about it, but I realize now that without my phone, I can't function because it has like everybody's schedules in it. Like it has every appointment for my kids. Like, yeah, we don't have a house phone anymore, right? It's just cell phones.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, when we moved, my parents were like, are you getting a house phone? I was like, why would I do that?
Exactly. I know. My dad asked me the same thing. I'm like, why?
I'm like, if the people who want to get in touch with me have my cell phone number.
Yeah. And it's because it's not for like social media or anything digital. It's like my schedule, my life is on that phone.
The
Like all of
calendar.
yes, like the calendar. I cannot, and like I've tried to back it up to like my work stuff, and yeah, it's just yeah.
I know. I need to know what's happening every moment of the day.
I know.
So the last part of our podcast is Chatbot Says, and we know that you are the occasional author of posts on the Good Taste blog that spotlights dishes and restaurants of Wilmington and the Brandywine Valley. So we asked AI to come up with some cookbook titles for you, should you choose to pursue a more culinary writing. Some of these are a little on like definitely on the goofy cooking side, and some of these have combined cooking with marketing to come up with some creative stuff. So I'll read them off and you can pick which one of these you are most like to pick for your maybe one day cookbook.
Okay.
All right. So first is Dela-Fare. Jessica Horstman savors the flavors of the first state.
Oh, that's cute.
Wilming Your Appetite. Jessica Horstman's delicious tour of Wilmington's culinary scene.
Okay. It's a little out there, but sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Brandy Wine and Dine. Tasty Recipes from Delaware by Jessica Horstman.
We almost used something like that once.
There were a couple of these that it came up with that I was like, we can't use those. Like those actually might be like in existence somewhere. And then these are the three that kind of tied in the marketing aspect. So The Branding Kitchen, Crafting Flavors and Brands That Stick by Jessica Horstman.
Oh, that's a good one.
Conversion Cooking. Jessica Horstman turns local ingredients into winning content. And the final one, Metrics and Meals. Jessica Horstman delivers data-driven recipes for delicious success.
I like them. That was pretty good, actually. I think, I don't know. I'd have to go with maybe the first one, just because it's the play on Delaware.
I know. I do love that one, and it's the play on Delaware, and it's like ties in food without being like food.
Right. Yeah.
Fare is
a few good ones.
Yeah, fare is an underrated word for food.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. We have enough fairs and festivals to definitely like take that into the literal sense too.
Quite literally. I know there's so many. I'm sure you know, but there's just
many. Yeah, we have over like 100, I think, just in the summer.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Mm-hmm. Nobody thinks about it, but yeah, we do.
When people say there's nothing to do in Delaware.
Exactly.
Well, I wanted to thank you for joining us and sharing all of the stuff about you and about Delaware with us. And I'm so glad that we were able to get you to be a part of Social Media Day Delaware 2024. If people would like to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, you could definitely find me on LinkedIn, Jessica Horstman. And then, I am, like you said, I am on Visit Wilmington DE on Instagram. I definitely, and our website is the same, it's visitwilmingtonde.com. So you can find me anywhere and everywhere in Newcastle County, Delaware, that's for sure.
Amazing. And if you're looking for something to do in Delaware, that's the first place you should look.
Yes, that is definitely the first place you should look.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Thank you for listening to Yes Genius, a podcast from Epic Marketing. Join us again to hear more unique stories. In the meantime, find us on social media or online at epicmc2.com. You can also connect with Delaware's digital community at socialmediadayde.com. Don't miss out. Remember to follow or subscribe wherever you get your genius content.